Hi, and welcome back to Well Read Wit, where we talk about books I am reading or trying to read or trying to form a reading habit all over again. It's 3 in the afternoon right now. I am luckily home today, and I thought I could use some natural light in my videos for once. But unfortunately, Mr. Sun has decided to not be in my window. So if the lighting changes, it's on Mr. Sun, not on me. Okay. Today we are going to do what every booktuber on the earth has probably already done. And I am incredibly late. And I have a few reasons why I am incredibly late. Like, this was supposed to go up 2 weeks ago, but then I hadn't researched properly for the video yet when Sunday rolled around, so I did not have enough time to have a script ready, and I already had a prior commitment on Sunday, so I couldn't research. And last Sunday, I just wanted to have a reading Sunday for myself without any, oh my god, not again, not again, not again. This is going to be a recurring theme in my videos now, isn't it? And I really wanted to do this tag. So, better late than never, I guess, is my agenda for this channel. So, here we are. We are doing this. Regardless of the fact that we are 2 weeks late to this tag's timing, we are doing this regardless. This is, of course, my mid-year book freakout tag. I don't know who the original creator of this tag is. If I ever find out, I will link them in the description. But I got my questions from Carrie Can Read, who did her tag, by the way, a month ago. So I am very late to this game. I've added a few statistics for myself, essentially, in the beginning. So the goal for the year, how many books I've read so far, how many books are remaining, and how many books I need to read in order to reach my goal. The goal for the year was 52 books. So a book for each week, essentially, because I knew I was getting back into reading this year. I was not trying to have a larger than life goal that I could possibly never achieve. So I just went for something realistic. And currently, I don't, yeah, it's, even though I went for something realistic, it seems a bit far fetched right now. I am recording this on 11th July, and so far I have read 21 books. I am going to finish my 22nd book today. I'm pretty sure I will finish that book today. So there is that. But that means that we have several books remaining. We have at least 31 books remaining until I reach my goal, which is essentially an average of 5 to 6 books per month. I have had months where I just did not read at all. I did not read a single book in April. In February, I just read a single book. So it is on me as well that this thing did not transpire the way I wanted it to transpire. The first question of the tag is the best book I've read so far, or the best books I've read so far in 2025. And I have the first book that I read this year. I think I read it in January, so pretty early on. And this was one of my first 5 stars of the year. It's a very short book. It's Simple Passion by Annie Ernaux. It's essentially a tale about somebody who is in a sense of unrequited love, and they do not know how to move on, and they can't figure out how to move on, and how heartbreaking that can be when you're every single day, when your routine is set around a person and you can't seem to move on, and the other person clearly just does not care all that much. It is a heartbreaking thing to be suffering from, and I would say it is something you suffer from. But yeah, I'm sorry if things are going awry as far as alignment goes. My tripod just loves to hate me. No matter how many times I changed the tripod, no matter which company I invested, every tripod I've ever had, they love to hate me. And that is the truth of it. In 80 pages, Annie Ernaux catches that feeling of suffering from unrequited love extremely well, and you come out of it either remembering or wishing what could have been, both for the protagonist or with yourself. Being in unrequited love is sort of a universal experience. So I think everybody who will ever read this book can relate to it, and you come out of it thinking what could have been, both for yourself and for your character. And she manages to blur the lines between her protagonist and herself very, very well. It's been like 7 months now that I've read this book, and I said this the first time I talked about this book, that I do not know whether it is a real account story that Arno herself went through, and I do not want to know as well. It is that blurring of lines is something so beautiful that so many people can't exactly capture, but Arno does it so masterfully well. And if you are somebody who is suffering from unrequited love, or you know someone who is suffering from unrequited love, recommend this book to them. This book will understand their pain, your pain so well. The next book I read, January was truly the month of short books, because I saw people talking about how finishing short books could boost your motivation to stick with your reading goal and stick with the reading habit, and how it won't um, be a difficult thing to keep up with reading in the new year if if you're just able to tick books very quickly one after the other. So January was a short month, a short book month, followed by February, where I only read a single book. So the second book in the short month January I read was Foster by Claire Keegan. And this is about a young child going to live with her aunt and uncle because her parents can't truly take care of so many kids that they have, and they have another kid on the way. And again, a very short book, a very poignant book. In contrast with the previous book, this situation does not happen all that often. Like, of course, it does happen. It is not as universal as being in unrequited love is. So, this is something that I personally did not have any reference point for. Reading this from that child's perspective, it was so heart touching. Again, another 5-star book that I've read. There are certain books that everyone talks about and you think that they are being overhyped, and surely they can't be this good. And then there are books that everybody hypes and they are that good. This is Foster by Claire Keegan was definitely in the second category. Then I finally read In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. This is a booktube classic. Everybody and their mother has already talked about this book at length in the past. If you have somehow managed to skip all that, I will summarize this book for you. It's a memoir of Machado, wherein Machado talks about this particular relationship that was very toxic. She talks about this relationship with using different literary devices and different storytelling mediums. For example, Dreamhouse as a metaphor, Dreamhouse as a Law and Order episode. So all of these chapters, they are essentially different ways of storytelling that Machado uses to convey her story, and it is very brilliantly done. If you have not picked it up, please do. The next book in this category, the last book so far in this category of the best books I've read so far in 2025, is Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Huang. My god, what a book. This book talks about obsession, it talks about art. This book is set in a dystopian future where you've had people divided into two different factions in the society, the fringers and the enclavers. Our protagonist, she used to be a fringer. Now, fringers in this book, the or a fringe kid in this book would not have had access to art, but our main character is obsessed with art. She's sort of a prodigy that somehow managed to become this very prolific painter in her early childhood, and then she decides to pursue art. Everything is sort of stacked against her in the beginning, but she perseveres. She gets the scholarship, she joins the school that she wanted to join, and that is from where our story begins. Our main character Enka meets Matilda, and the story revolves around their friendship, their obsession with each other, their love for each other, and how that love can grow toxic at times. It also discusses art and the artist, and how much input can an artist put in their art, how collaboration, when you take collaboration to an extreme length, what that entails, how close people can be with one another with the latest technology. So, yeah, I this book consumed my consciousness in the best way possible, is how I would review this. If you have not heard about this book, if you have not decided whether you want to pick it up or not, please do. It is a bit slow paced. It is not your you are going to read through it in a single setting sort of book, but it is something that will sit with you for a while, for a long time. It is something that requires processing. It talks about artists and like how AI is now in our field, and what that entails for the future of art and our humanness. And it is a very, very contemporary book despite being dystopian. The author is very nice too. I posted the story of this book on my Instagram, and the author was very, very nice to me. And so, yeah, I'd sort of become like the author's fan just from that interaction. The next question we have is the best sequel I've read so far in 2025. And technically, I've read only a single sequel, but I'm counting two because this is a series continuation. The technical sequel that I've read and finished the series, like or like come up to the series, I don't know whether Bardugo is planning on writing another installation in the Darlington world or Alex Stern world. But I read Hellbent. I finished Hellbent. I read Ninth House. I think back in 23. I want to say, or it's been a while since I've read Ninth House, so I had to reread Ninth House so that I could read Hellbent. Um, and this story follows Alex Stern, again, somebody who is from a non-academic background. Let's just say that that is perhaps the most non-spoilery way I can describe that. And she gets an admission into Yale, and then she joins secret society. She gets admission into Yale because she has to manage the secret societies. She can see ghosts, and this is not a spoiler. She can see ghosts, and her the first book follows her trying to uncover the mystery of Darlington, or where Darlington went. Essentially, Alex and Darlington were on a mission when Darlington sort of vanished in front of Alex's eyes, and Alex sort of froze in that moment. And the first book follows on from that. We have murders, we have um, culty stuff, we have occulty stuff, we have rituals, we have many secret societies, and yeah, and then Hellbent follows on from there on forward, and it was nice. It was very, very nice. I also think that this is Hellbent being my answer to this question is also because I've not read another sequel so far in the year. Yeah, so this is sort of a de facto answer, but it was also a very nice way to wrap up their story. Hellbent ups the stakes very much so. The biggest clue to the mystery of this novel is actually in the title. So yeah, yeah, good one. A really good one. But who am I kidding? I just like everything Badugo writes, honestly. I also have to do my Six of Crows rereading of this year. I didn't do it last year, then I felt bad that I did not do it. So I want to do that before the end of the year as well. The next sequel that I am counting, even though it is not a sequel, it is an establishment of a new series. It is Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. It is, but the only reason why I'm counting it as a sequel is because it is set in the same world as the Kiss of Deception series was. But we are not following our princess, our assassin, or our prince in this case, obviously. We are following somebody who is in the princesses from the first books or the first series in her royal guard, and we are following the royal Ratan. That they are known as Ratan. They are part of Ratan, or we are following the royal soldiers or the royal guard of our princess. And we have a mystery in front of us, and we are trying to find a person and this journey takes us to the edge of the kingdom, and things move on from there. Anything else I say, I think, will be a spoiler, so I'm just not going to say it. The next category of questions is new releases you haven't read but want to. Now I have one, two, three, four, five books in this category. Three, I know a thing or two about. Two, I just put them on my TBR because Jack Edwards from Jack Edwards, the channel, recommended it in his best books of 2024 video. And like I chose like six books out of that. So two of them are from that video. The first book is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. This book just came out, I think, the first week of July. Yeah, I know it's about lesbians, it's about three of them, it's about following three different timelines, but that is all I know, honestly. V.E. Schwab is pretty much an autobi author for me. I have a lot of books by her. Most of her catalog, I think I own, apart from her middle grade stuff. So I won't cover that. But yeah, I know this is a very personal project for Schwab because I follow her on Instagram and she constantly gives updates about the way writing is happening, her conception, her perception of her own stories, which is, I think, a very interesting thing to have access to. So I am excited, but I also know that this book has gotten mixed reviews. So I am a bit hesitant, which is also why I did not buy the physical copy yet because I'm not sure whether I like it and I do not have space on my bookshelves anymore. I mean, I do have one and a half shelves, but I want to preserve those shelves for I don't know what. I just know I want to preserve them. That's it. The next book, again, it's also by V.E. Schwab. It came out last year and it's still on my TBR. It's still high up on my TBR, but I just don't get around to reading it. It is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. This story is set 7 years after the end of the last book of A Darker Shade of Magic series. And the only hold up that I have is that I want the entire series to be out to binge read it, but I also just keep staring at my copy on my shelf, thinking that I should read that book next, but then I don't pick it up. Technically, it's not a new release, but it is a new release for me because what do you mean I did not read V.E. Schwab's past book and she also has another book out? So I need to get on my game. V.E. Schwab books, I like them. Most of them I like. I think all of them I like. V.E. Schwab and Leigh Bardugo, anything they write, I will read them. Read it. Anything. As cliche as it is, when John Green said in Fault in Our Stars through Hazel that she would read the grocery lists, yeah, I would read grocery lists too. The next book in this category is A Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I only put this in here because I know I'm going to read it after finishing Deep End, or like I'll put something else between Deep End and A Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood because I know I want to read them. So, new release, I haven't read yet, but I want to. Then we have All Fours by Miranda July. Do not know anything about this book. All I know is everybody was very hyped up because Miranda July came back after quite many years. So I want to see what the fuss is about. Then the last book on this list is Orbital by Samantha Harvey. This, I think, won the Booker Prize, I want to say. If I'm wrong, I'll put the right prize here. But I want to read that. Orbital is about these group of people in space, and that is all I know. Literally, that is all I know. When I take recommendations, I like the description of the book, and then my brain promptly forgets everything. That is it. I wanted to know what the book is was about once again for this video's sake, for the sake of the video at least. But then I was like, isn't it fun to go into books without knowing anything about it, but knowing that they are good enough to be on everybody's lists, and it won a prize at the end of the day. Most anticipated releases for the second half of the year is our next category. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil tops this category as something that would have been relevant 2 weeks ago, but it is not anymore. Then we have Katabasis by R.F. Kuang that is going to come out in August, I think. Again, R.F. Kuang, another auto read author. I've pre-ordered this one. I like the cover. I know it's two people going into hell because they want recommendation letters from their professor. And I have not seen a single person point out how ridiculous of that plot point is. Why do you need that specific recommendation letter? Can't you convince any other professor of yours to write you a recommendation letter? Silly goofy times with Arf Kwong. The next on this list is Hemlock and Silver by T. Kingfisher. This is a Snow White retelling. Have I read T. Kingfisher before? No. Have I heard about her stuff being amazing? Yes. Do I have like 3 books on my Kindle by her? Yes. Will I read them? Depends on my mood. Next, I am excited about it's We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad. It is the sequel to a widely acclaimed novel Bunny. Bunny was about sorority girls, writing groups, and a hallucination dream. And that is all I could gather. It's a very weird book. Bunny is a very weird book. It is very dark academic. It is very occulty. It is very um reviving and reincarnating people. If I am not wrong, I don't know. That book confused me so much to the point that Mona was other book, Rouge. I wanted to try it, but then I was like, okay, what if I'm confused? So I just never picked it up. But yeah, I'm excited to read We Love You Bunny. It would be another hallucination dream sequence that I probably won't be able to understand. The last book in this category is Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is sequel to Bride. I am currently on a Ali Hazelwood kick, I would say. I want to read everything she's written. Honestly, I read The Love Hypothesis. I liked it, but Miss Hazelwood put out books at the rate of light. So I couldn't keep up, and then reading slumps happened, and a lot of things happened. So I'm trying to get back into Ali Hazelwood stuff. And the people I trust, people I like, they say that they like Hazelwood, and I liked Love Hypothesis. So why not? You know, why not? Biggest disappointments of the year so far. Now, in this category, we have 3 books. Death at the Morning House by Maureen Johnson. I have ranted about this book long enough. I don't want to waste more time talking about this book, but it was so slow, man. It was so slow. I could not understand why it was so slow. Like, this was not the book I should have started my year with, but it was, and yeah, what can you do? It started out so strong, it ended so strong, but the middle it dragged out like anything. The chapters should have been shorter. There should have been far more interesting things that could have been happening, but they weren't. Don't know why. Still don't understand why. Then we have Last Summer in the City by Gianfranco Calgrich. Again, this is one of those books that I got from Jack Adred's the channel. It is a good book. It is a love letter to Rome. It starts out amazing in the beginning. I don't understand why I lost the appeal in the middle of this book. It's an Italian classic. Our main character, Leo, he traverses through Rome trying to live his life without a job, and he just wants to read books. And I'm like, bro, you and I, we are both the same. And how disillusioned he is with his life, how nothing seems to be working out in his life. No matter what he does, he's just constantly disappointed and just not satisfied with his life. And how that intertwines with his love for Rome and Italy in general. And it did not change my life. I was expecting this book to change my life. I do not know why, but it did not. So that was a disappointment. The last book in this category is Treacle Walker by Alan Garner, I want to say. I don't remember the author's name, nor have I written it down. But I did not understand the point of this book or the scope of this book. I think I DNF'd this book. No, wait, I finished it. It was short. But yeah, I read words. The words did not make any sense to my brain. Maybe I should reread this to see what the point was. Still, words happened, sentences happened. My brain just did not at the time work, did not at the time was able to comprehend the story that was unfolding. I could not connect anything with anything. The next category is the biggest surprise. I have 3 books in this category. Looking at it, I think there should only be 2 out of the 3 that I've put here. So I'll talk about only 2. The first book was The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chokshi. When I tell you, nobody has ever talked about this book the way it deserves to. They talk about the pros, they talk about the setting, the gothic experience, but why does nobody talk about the twist? Because I did not see that twist coming at all. Like, my god, hello, what? I'm sorry? Excuse me? Yes, the writing is great. Yes, the atmosphere building is awesome. But you will not see that twist coming. I did not see it coming. How, Miss Chokshi? How? Then we have Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrian Young. This book was very weird. In my experience reading this book was very weird because I was able to crack the puzzle very early on, but I could not figure out how the mechanics of that thing would work. But it was very well explained. It was very well explained. The mechanics were just amazing. Like, I did physics stuff until like my last year of school. So to that portion of my brain, this was such an amazing delight to have. Essentially, this follows June Farrow. She comes from a long line of pharaohs, and pharaohs, they are well known for going mad, and they sort of start to lose their sense of self and like where they are, how they are, what is humorous of them. And they are known for being like, the curse of the bloodline is essentially that they are known for that they go through this madness that follows every pharaoh in the family and every daughter of the family. But the truth is very, very different, and I think that is all you know. You need to know that there's a curse on the pharaohs, that they can see things nobody can see, that they are bound to go through this madness, and that is it. That is all you should know when you are getting into this, because that's all I knew, and I had an amazing experience with this book. Sure, if you read enough sci-fi, if you watch enough movies, you will, I think, also be able to figure out the twist. um, but in case you can't, you are in for a delight. New favorite author. Now, this could be a debut author or an author that is new to you. To me, it was Ling Ling Huang who wrote Immaculate Conception. I'm very excited to read her second book, or her first book, sorry, Natural Beauty. Immaculate Conception. Please go read it right now. Shut off the video. I don't care. you, I'm 40 minutes in. I don't think anyone is even watching at this point. So if you are, great, amazing, brilliant. Now switch off the video, go read the book, and then come back. Don't do that. Don't actually switch off the video. Watch the video, then go and put it on hold or purchase it off of your local bookstores. But yeah, what a book, man. The next newest fictional crush. Now, while don't get bookish crushes anymore, there is this one character in The Unmaking of June Farrow. I won't tell his role because that is a spoiler. But his name is Eamon. So whenever you get to the point of the book when you read Eamon, that is it. I can't tell you anything about this character. I literally can't tell you anything about this character. But you can know his name, and you can know that he is going to be a major character in the book. That is that. Yep. The next category is newest favorite character, and this is going to be Scarlet Vandy from Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. This media freakout tag is just me talking about Ali Hazelwood. That is all there is to it. There's nothing more. This is Ali Hazelwood's world, and we are living in it. Scarlet, she is so much like me. Like, the way her brain functions, the way she overthinks everything. That is basically me. So Scarlet Vandy from Deep End. Favorite character so far this year. Books that made me cry so far. Talked about these books at length in the beginning of this video, so won't take much time. They were Foster and Simple Passion by Annie Ernaux. I'm also planning on reading the rest of the Realm of the Elderlings. I've read the Farseer trilogy, so hopefully, possibly, those books will be the ones that made me cry, because I remember reading the Farseer trilogy and it was such an emotional gut punch, such an amazing character study. Wow, this year, possibly, hopefully, will be the year that I finish reading Realm of the Elderlings. The next category is books that made you happy. Now, the book I'm going to mention here, it is not necessarily a happy story, but I loved like it made my heart happy, it made my artist heart happy, how beautifully the concept of art was handled in this book. Not by any stretch of the imagination it is a happy book. Maybe deep end will be by the end of it. I mean, I know it will be a happy book, a book that will make me happy, because it is a romance. But I have not finished Deep End by Ali Hazelwood yet. I'm still at the 25% mark, if I'm not wrong. So I cannot put that here. But Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Huang again takes the cake, because it handles such complex topics so beautifully. Like artistic envy, greed. I haven't seen things being handled so beautifully and so contemporarily. Is that a word? Now it is. And like how it presents what it means to be an artist, what it is like to feel that you are a fraud in your community, that you will never be enough, that no matter what you do, you will never be enough. And sometimes that's okay, but then people have different ways of dealing with things. So all of that, the whole packaging of the book made me very, very happy. I genuinely think that Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Huang will become one of the best books I've read in 2025. Like, full stop. I know I have like 7 months 6 months left of the year, and anything can take that crown, but it will definitely be in the top 3, if not in top 2, if not top 1. The next category is most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. I haven't. I bought like 2 books this year, and both of them were Indian rom-coms, and both of those covers, they are not anything to write home about, or like they do not appeal to me as such. So I don't have anything to show for this category. I'm also sort of proud of myself, because there was a point where I would just buy anything and everything. And so far this year, I've only bought 2 books. I aim to buy Live Traders trilogy next month, or this month, when once I get my salary. Um, but yeah, so far only 2 books, not particularly beautiful editions that I could show them off. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? And this is our last category. Ideally, I would like to read all the books, but that is not possible at all unless I end up losing my job somehow. And I have a lot of time on my hand and I can read. Well, even then, I don't think I will be able to read everything off of my TBR. That's just not going to happen. That's humanly impossible. The TBR, they are ever growing, no matter how much you try to tackle them, be it a physical TBR, be it a virtual TBR. They have a way of just TBRs are never ending things, is what I've realized. If you read a book, you will come across 10 new books. And that's just the nature of the internet and the nature of book sphere on the internet these days. Yeah, TBRs, they're never going to end. But for the sake of the video, I've sort of had a guesstimated a guesstimated TBR. Um, Firstly, already mentioned, but Realm of the Elderlings. Now, do I know that it is going to be difficult to read a 16 book series in like the 6 months that are left in the year? Yes, but I can surely try. I can definitely try. The next is the sequel to Dance of Thieves that I really want to read, because I don't want to put enough time in between the 2 books that I forget the story altogether, which is Vow of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. Then I really want to read Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. Heard only good things about it. Essentially about a boy who wants to become martyr, and like he wants to his life to mean something. He wants his death to mean something, and then he comes across this listing posting. I don't know, somehow he finds out that there's this artist who is doing conversations with people as an end of her life exhibit, or end of their life exhibit. And our main protagonist goes and meets them and like has conversations with them, and that is all I know, and that is all I want to know. Then the next thing on my TBR is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. I am just intrigued by this trilogy. Four Ruined Realms by Mike Orland is also on my TBR, relatively immediate TBR, but I'm also waiting on the third book in the series to come out so I could just binge read the second and the third book back to back. And surprisingly, I've not forgotten about the first book. Like the story, it's still fresh in my mind, which is very surprising. It essentially follows five people as they plan to kill the king, and it is supposed to be a heisty story. Yeah, that is all I can tell. Then, ideally, I would like to read Emily Henry again, like just like I've fallen back into Ali Hazelwood, I would also would like to fall back into Emily Henry's verses books again. Happy Place was the last book I read from her, and I did not like that book at all. People in my circle at the time just would not stop hyping Happy Place, and I was like, maybe she's just not for me, so I just did not pick Funny Story up. But I also want to read The Great Big Baby L. That's why I can say that I've read it. Um, and The Great Big BBL has people on the fence about Emily Henry. So I just want to see it for myself where I stand on her. But I also have heard good things about Funny Story. So now I'm intrigued. I might as well read Funny Story as well. Last book in this category, or last books in this category, are everything by Rachel Gillig. Essentially, not everything. I want to read One Dark Window and the sequel. I also want to read The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Just very intrigued by Rachel Gillig and the worlds she creates. That is all. And this is where the tag ends. I've never talked this much on camera ever before. This is the longest footage I've ever recorded. So, something, new things every day. What surprises me most about recording this video is the fact that I was not feeling hot throughout it. It's still summers here, and I'm sitting without a fan. I mean, I do have my AC on, so yeah, but like in the past, I've felt hot despite the AC. So yeah, that's something. That is all there is to my mid-year book freakout tag. I will list the questions below in case any 64 of you want to do it or like answer the questions for yourself in the comment section below. That would be lovely. I'll see you in the next one. I think I'm going to do a 24-hour reading challenge next. Why? Who knows? Just random things. Oh, I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.